Welcome back. Karnataka Chief Minister B.S. Yediyurappa has announced a 14-day complete shutdown in the entire state. All shops selling essential goods have been allowed to open up from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. The agriculture sector, essential goods transport between states have been exempted. Manufacturing sector, barring the garment industry, has been exempted. Construction industry has been exempted. The cabinet has observed that COVID spread around Bengaluru and the surrounding areas is frightening and is in a worse state even than Maharashtra. The Chief Minister said that the decision has been made after due consultation with experts. In addition, the Chief Minister has also announced free vaccines for all citizens and has motivated the public to go ahead and get vaccinated and also support the exhausted healthcare system. He's also come out and said that the oxygen requirement in the state is also being augmented from 300 metric tons to 800 metric tons to meet the requirements of the state. Deepa Balakrishnan now joining us with more details. Deepa, so clearly he's not called it a lockdown openly, he's called it a curfew, but it's as good as locking the entire state down for 14 days to try and break this chain.
That's right. Technically, they've not used the term lockdown, perhaps in deference to the fact that the Prime Minister himself had said that lockdown should really be the last resort. So what they're calling it is a close down or shutdown or corona curfew, as one of the ministers had termed it. What we are going to see is a shutdown of most shops and commercial establishments, but manufacturing sector has been allowed to function. Secondly, vaccination will be taken up, will continue. The drives will continue in all the government hospitals and private hospitals. Vaccination is going to be offered free of cost to all those above 18 years of age from May 1 at government hospitals. Of course, if you choose to go to a private hospital, the cost would still entail. But if you choose to go to the government hospital, it would be free of cost for all adults. What we are going to see also is detailed guidelines that will be coming in by the end of the day, because this curfew, this corona curfew as they call it, will set in from tomorrow, night at 9 p.m. What the CM had said is that restaurants will not function, but takeaways are allowed. And the same with liquor shops. Takeaways, of any amount of alcohol is allowed from all liquor shops, but pubs, of course, will be closed. So what we are seeing as an effect of this is that a large number of people in Bangalore who want to go to their native places for the next 14 days because they don't have work here, have already started making a beeline to bus stands across Bangalore to see if they want to move out to North Karnataka districts or coastal Karnataka districts from where they hail. Secondly, we're also seeing queues, lines of people queuing up outside liquor shops in the worry that perhaps liquor sale will be curtailed. But detailed guidelines on these things will be coming in later today.
Well, the priorities for certain people as they queue up outside liquor shops in these times of need. Thank you very, very much for your update, Deepa. More news coming through. Augmenting the minimal supply of medical oxygen. This is the word that's come through. It's a PIB release. The centre has said that the efforts are on to boost and ease the oxygen crunch that are being faced by some critically hit areas like Delhi and also states like Uttar Pradesh. Now, oxygen expresses will cumulatively cross 450 metric tons of oxygen delivery by tomorrow morning, even as there are trains which are en route Delhi and Uttar Pradesh. The train is expected to leave from Lucknow to Bokaro to take more oxygen tonight. So when it comes back, there will be at least 450 metric tons of oxygen that would have been delivered in the last 4 or 5 days. Payal Mehta now joining us with more details. Payal, so there is it's a landmark that's been achieved also in terms of delivery of medical oxygen at within such critical timelines.
Anand, that's the reason we call the Indian Railways as the national lifeline, isn't it, Anand? You know, not only transporting millions and millions of people across the length and breadth of the country, now it's carrying the most critical thing that we need right now, that is oxygen. Of course, Delhi will be receiving its first oxygen train tomorrow morning when it arrives from Chhattisgarh. At 5 o'clock in the morning, the train will be, landing or rather reaching, the Delhi cantonment railway station where it is going to be unloaded if the tankers reach on time. Today also the train from Gujarat has in fact reached another location that is in Maharashtra as well. So constant effort being made. The Prime Minister said very, very clearly that this is going to be done on a war footing method as well, and Railways has answered that call in a very, very aggressive manner, in a very, very positive manner as well. And 460 metric tons of oxygen that is going to be delivered by tomorrow is something the railway is really challenging itself because this is the same Indian Railways who had shut transportation last time around during the lockdown for the public, but they continued their state operation. They continued to bring in migrant labours as well. So of course, even if many people had been cribbing and complaining about the lack of systems as well, railway in its entire power and might, and even those people who've been on the ground, from the very beginning, are the ones who are actually making sure that the last mile delivery is available to people. Oxygen is being made available to whichever states are asking for it, and a number of trains have already reached Maharashtra and Mumbai. A number of trains have reached several other locations. So every effort is being used, especially even in a place like Uttar Pradesh, which is going to get another train by tomorrow.
But most importantly, it's also the turnaround time. The fact is that these trains, there is also facilitation in terms of easing the traffic or the time that they will take in transit with green corridors or green routes being provided to these Oxygen Express trains. And also the turnaround time from getting to an endpoint, filling, then coming back, offloading and then going back. It's also being done at a very, very rapid pace. That it also shows a certain level of logistic effort that is being taken.
Yes, Anand, all of these, hurdles have been already smoothened out. There have been massive efforts that have been taken to make sure that there is a green corridor available. The availability from end-to-end transmission as far as these trains are concerned, there's a particular speed up to which these trains can really ply. So it's been a Herculean effort that is being put in by the Railways Ministry. One must actually congratulate Piyush Goyal also for the kind of leadership as the Railway Ministry executed. He's also the Minister for Commerce, who's also had a say as far as oxygen and oxygen manufacturing and transportation is concerned. So obviously, every effort is being made. And of course, like I said, that the Indian Railways is India's lifeline, becoming the common man's lifeline again with the transportation of this oxygen.
Well, thank you for your inputs, Payal. Moving on, and let's get a quick check of what's happening in poll-bound Bengal, where after a high-octane campaign season, phase 7 of the Bengal polls currently underway. As of 5 p.m, the voter turnout above 75% overall average across the 34 constituencies. Mamata Banerjee heating out at central forces yet again, saying the Election Commission should withdraw them for getting COVID into Bengal. She also cast her vote in Bhawanipur. Despite heavy security deployment, clashes between rival parties did take place, although the level of violence is far lesser compared to previous elections in the past, and also compared to what we have witnessed in phases 1 to 6. A polling agent of BJP alleged that he was pushed out of booth number 91 in Malda by Trinamool Congress workers, whereas TMC candidate was ambushed by Jai Shri Ram slogans in his Kolkata Port constituency. Till now, the overall voter turnout is 75.06 as of 5 p.m.
I'm extremely confident from whatever little I have gathered by meeting people across the length and breadth of the state. And there are 2 more phases of polling left. Today we are on the 7th phase of the polling. And Bengal has already completed polling in about 230 odd seats. And from whatever little I have gathered, in my own experience and wisdom, I am extremely confident that Mamata Banerjee is going to come back with 2/3 majority.
चुनाव वो हार चुकी हैं। वो नंदीग्राम से देखिए, ममता जी के बयानों को आप 2 भागों में विभाजित करिए। एक नंदीग्राम का चुनाव के पहले के और एक नंदीग्राम के चुनाव के बाद। नंदीग्राम के चुनाव के पहले की ममता जी के बयान कुछ और होते थे। नंदीग्राम के बाद के बयान फ्रस्ट्रेशन वाले बयान, क्योंकि उनको पता लग गया नंदीग्राम में हार चुकी हैं।
Well, Pallavi Ghosh now joins us with more details. Pallavi, there was a lot that's being said, but the voter turnout is a healthy number, and very strict COVID protocols in the 7th phase after a lot of backlash that the Election Commission has also been subjected to for allowing political parties and also people attending these rallies to brazenly violate COVID norms.
Yes, in fact, I was here in the last assembly elections as well, and we saw much more violence and incidents of intimidation this time round. In comparison, it's been much less. Also, I was a little cynical, I have to admit, in the morning when I thought that there would not be too much of a turnout, given that there is a COVID panic, which is now finally setting into Kolkata. But we did find people, I found people 80 plus who are actually coming out to cast their votes. And they said, it's a part of in place by the Election Commission, sanitizers, you draw those social distancing circles and checking the temperature. That has been very much there in place, and Kolkata's good turnout is actually heartening. in the sense with the BJP because they've been extremely popular as far as urban voters go in the rest of the country, or will they stay with the TMC because Bhawanipur, after all, is a prestigious constituency for them? It's a litmus test for the Trinamool Congress, and it's been a stronghold of the TMC. So is it going to stay with them or not? That's going to be a very important thing we're going to watch out on the 2nd of May.
No worry. The BJP or the Trinamool, given the high voter turnout and also a lot of women voters coming out to vote across these 34 constituencies. To our viewers, we should say that there were, it was supposed to be election only across 36 assembly constituencies, but deaths due to Covid-19 in 2 of the assembly constituencies means only 34 went to the ballot today. The 2 remaining constituencies will go to the ballot on the 16th of May. That's all we have time for in this edition of the Nation at 5. Zaka ready with Viewpoint.